This is Mr. Everything, and I'm coming at you with another live stream. Here we go. Cleared off all that. I was expecting Aaron, one of our pilots, to join me. I haven't been able to get a hold of him. He's not on Discord. He's not on our Skype. He might be working later. So what we're going to do is I'm still going to review a lot of the stuff that's in my agenda for the filling the void, because we only do this once a month now, and but I also want this to be an announcement of us starting a new season. This is season 4 of Filling the Void. I'm going to rename this to episode 0 because it's just me. And we're going to try to get some more hosts for you next time. I apologize. That is us falling through. We had made it. We were going to do it on Mondays and then Fridays, and then we decided we were going to do it on the first Tuesday of the month. There's been a lot of shuffling in our organization due to work schedules. And Tuesday, the first Tuesday of every month, seemed like it was going to be the best for everyone. It's going to be the best for me. It's going to be the best for the rest of my hosts. But for some reason, it could be due to his work that he's unable to get on. He might be late. He might still be on his way home. So I'm just going to leave Skype open. If he contacts me or calls me, we'll go ahead and plug him into the show. Otherwise, I'm gonna once I get done with the agenda, because there's not gonna be a whole lot of discussion. It's just gonna be now my thoughts. So I apologize for that. I'm doing a lot of apologizing. But it could be a blessing in disguise. And the reason why I say that is because there's a huge amount of thunderstorms going on right now. We have tornado warnings in my area, and I'm noticing that I'm dropping a lot of packets on the stream. So the quality of the stream might not be up to speed. I've even dropped the FPS down to 26 to see if that would help. If it doesn't, it's no big deal. If it does, no big deal also, because this is going to be kind of a filling the void light. Okay. What I am also going to do is when we're done with the agenda, I'm going to just go ahead and go on into Crusader, and we're going to play a little bit, okay? And then you can kind of watch. Now, hold off on your questions for me until right before we transition into the... I mean, you can post your questions now in the chat if you want, and then I will address each of the questions in turn as we get closer to logging into Star Citizen. It's, proper. Okay, and I appreciate anybody that's coming out and watching me live. If you're watching this later on my YouTube channel, understand that Season 4 is on its way. Episode 1, hopefully 2.61 will be out by the time Episode 1 comes out, and maybe even, who knows, an announcement of something else might be out. And if that's out, then we'll talk about that. All right, so let's talk about what we normally would talk about in a filling the void. Okay, so let me open up my agenda and resize it so I can actually read it. All right, so I want to note that I'm not a CIG employee. Okay, and all my statements and all my concerns and comments are coming from a perspective of the player. Okay, now I am familiar with the process. I am familiar with game development and the manpower requirements and financial... My chair, man. It wants to go right here. I move over here, and it wants to slide. Okay. How do you like my garbage cans? One's actually recycle for can... Which one? Yeah. recycling for cans, paper and junk like that. And then I've got actually, I don't know, could you see it? I don't know if you can, am I in the way? Oh, I am in the way. If I wasn't, if I was, okay, crap, I don't even know where I'm going. Hey, right there, cardboard. We do a lot of recycling in the house. Okay, just thought I'd, yeah, cool. What are these? That is my Napoleonic figures. Those are D&D figures. Boom. I've got a ton of shelves up here that you can't see. D&D figures. Okay. That whole shelf back there, that whole shelf, starting from yeah, the whole thing. That's all Traveler. It's a sci-fi role-playing game that Star Citizen is loosely based on. Whether they agree, whether they say that or not, I see a lot of similarities between that role-playing game and Star Citizen, and that's one of the reasons why I'm super excited about Star Citizen, is because Traveler was my favorite role-playing game. Currently, we're playing D&D at the local game store, but Traveler, that's really my passion, you know. So is all, well, pretty much gaming in general, historical miniatures, all that stuff. Okay, so this is what I said. I said hold the questions till the end. We're not CIG employees, so these don't hold us to these statements. If you ask us a question, we're only going to give you the answers that we know or we think we know. And if we're wrong, then we're wrong, you know. And I'm going to have to say we, but I'm really meaning me, unless someone joins me in the middle of the stream. Okay, now I want to let you know our next topic is what are we doing. And remember, whenever I say we, that's because I typed up we. But really, is what am I doing in the meantime while we wait for 3.0? And I say wait for 3.0 because 3.0 is going to sink a lot of my time. When 3.0 comes out, I'm pretty much going to be stopping everything else that I'm doing on the computer, and I'm going to be, whenever I computer game, which is probably an hour or two every day, I'm going to be in Star Citizen. So that's going to sink a lot of my time. 3.0 is. But until then, it's kind of hit or miss on whether or not I get onto Star Citizen. But what other things am I doing in the meantime? Well, I'm staying current with the flight model by flying in Arena Commander and jumping into Port Olisar and going around the whole Crusader map. Okay, so I'm learning my ships, and then I'm also going into the FPS mode, the Star Marine, just so I can see what that's all about, you know, and maybe hone skills a little bit, check out the different weapons and stuff. I know nothing's set down in stone or in solid, you know, solid territory, but I do it anyway just to kind of get a feel for it, you know. What else am I doing? There's some things off the computer I'm doing. Or, okay, let's switch computer. I play a lot of War Thunder. Okay, I'm playing War Thunder because guess what? There's some dogfighting in War Thunder. There's some tank action in War Thunder. They even I have access to the ships in War Thunder. But I really enjoy flying, right, in War Thunder. I kind of enjoy tanks too. But I enjoy flying, and I have some other people in our squadron, the 1st Naval Aerospace Squadron. We fly War Thunder because it gives us a chance to kind of just enjoy World War II aerial combat, but also kind of work as a team, you know. And it doesn't translate into Star Citizen exactly, but it's very close because guess what? Chris Roberts wants Star Citizen to be World War II flight simulator in space, right? So we kind of enjoy the whole World War II aspect of War Thunder. But what else am I doing? Well, I'm a big historical nut, as you probably already know, or you probably don't already know. I was browsing the web, watching YouTube videos, do all kinds of stuff. I watch painting videos and this and that, especially, different techniques and things like this for when I paint D&D figures or my Traveler figures or whatever, right? Building models, because I build models too. I found this game called Tanks. Just put, do I have it? No, I put it over there. Okay, there's a game out there called Tanks. And as soon as I saw it, I was excited about it because the games are supposed to last about 30 minutes. And that usually means it's a quick one-on-one, like me against one other guy game, right? Well, it's too easy. This game is like too easy. It's a lot of people say it's a lot like X-Wing. Well, X-Wing, I guess it has an X-Wing feel to it. They're not made by the same company. I don't play X-Wing. I've watched one game of X-Wing being played, so I can't really compare it. It doesn't seem like it is, but you have like a ruler, like a pre-made 4-inch ruler to move your tanks, and you can move once or you can move twice or even 3 times on the fast tanks, and then it's real easy to maneuver. You don't have to you don't get out your tape measure and go, okay, I'm going to move up. No, no tape measure needed. Just these little range rulers, and when shooting, there's no need to measure range because your tank can shoot all the way across the board. So all you do is roll a bunch of dice, and that dice, those depending on the type of tank you have, is how many dice you roll, right? And then on the target gets to roll some defense dice, and that's based on his cover and how fast people have moved and blah blah blah. So, and all you're doing is rolling like 4s or better to get hits, and then you're rolling 4s or better to negate the hits, like armor, right? And if you negate all the hits, then you don't take any damage. And every hit that hits you does a point of damage, unless it's a 6, and then it's a critical, and then you draw a card, and it tells you your crew member is hurt, or your tracks are thrown, or something, right? So that it's super easy. That's it. That's the whole game right there. I pretty much explained the whole thing to you. Not exactly, but I need more than that. I need more than just a Sherman versus a Panther, or I need more than just play on a 3x3 mat with 2-dimensional cardboard terrain that lays on the ground. I need more than that. I'm a 3-dimensional person. So I've got a ton, and I'm going to say a shit ton of 15mm tanks, infantry, artillery, half-tracks, trucks, jeeps, hills, buildings, bridges, walls, hedges, fences. The list goes up. Wood lines. The list goes on. I need some rivers. Okay, so I'm thinking to myself, hey, I've got all this terrain. I've got all these tanks and all these troops and stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get this game, and I'm going to play the hell out of it using 3-dimensional terrain, and maybe I can get some other people interested. You know what? I mentioned it to my D&D group, and almost every one of my D&D groups says they want to play. Almost everybody. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. So if I get like 4 or 5 people playing, and if we start doing this down at the store, which I'm going to film this Saturday, I'm going to bring my camera with me to our demo, and I'll upload that video for you guys, so you guys get to see some of this action, right? Man, I'm dropping a ton of frames. I'm dropping 14% of my frames. That's incredibly high. So the internet connection sucks right now, and I'm sorry about that, because I thought I had really good fiber optic internet. Okay, so what I've been doing is I've been assembling the vehicles that I've had sitting on my shelf for years that I've not put together, because now I've been kind of motivated to assemble them. I've been throwing together some terrain pieces that I need, like rivers. I've been using like blue felt, laying them in strips. That doesn't look good. So I've been making some rivers. I've got these 2x2 terrain boards that I'm going to cut an end off of it, and that way I can make these 2x3 sections, and that will work great for a campaign that I'm going to be running, which is Piper's campaign. And because that's all you need is a 3x3 area. That's a normal tanks game, is played on a 3x3 mat, which can be played on your dinner table or whatever. Um, but what I'm doing is I'm converting a 25 millimeter campaign into 15 millimeter, 28 millimeter campaign into 15 millimeter. So all I have to do is half everything. And if it's done on a 4x6 table, now all I need is a 2x3 table. Little, that's small. 2x3 area. Shoot, boy, we're gonna be knocking some battles out. And I did some point conversions and stuff, and I'm telling you, that's what I've been doing. I've been converting the battleground points into tanks points, and I've been trying to figure out if we've got enough troops, and I've got enough troops by myself, but I know Mike and Cody and Kendall and maybe James, and I don't know, that they all might get involved and get some points and tanks and stuff, and we'll play some miniatures. So that's kind of what I've been doing, kind of just doing all that. All right, so let's talk about 2.6. Okay, 2.6 is currently live right now on the server. We're back to Star Citizen. Getting back to Star Citizen. Okay, 2.6 is out. It's on the live server. Okay, it's out there. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about my opinions and feelings about 2.6. Okay, well, two huge things happened in 2.6. Star Marine came out, which is the first-person shooter, kind of a deathmatch style first-person shooter. Awesome. Had to come out, liked it. Okay, but I'll get into that in a minute. And then there's flight adjustments, little tweaks in Arena Commander, so that when you're flying, you don't like every 3 level. Before, every 3 waves you would get resupplied, 100% fully resupplied. But now they do something different, which every time you kill someone, there's a chance that they'll drop something, and it's usually either ammo, missiles, fuel, or a wrench. And the wrenches is a new thing, because if you get a wrench and you fly over it, you get repaired. Okay, if you get fuel, you get boost fuel immediately, and then boost fuel, afterburner fuel also. And then if you go over bullets, if you have ballistics, then you get resupplied on your ballistics, and if you go over the missile, you get resupplied on missiles. And so you would get ballistics, missiles, and fuel in previous versions of Arena Commander, but you would never get repaired. So your damage would persist through all the rounds until you blew up, and you got 3 respawns. Well, now you can fly, get torn up to shreds, fly over one of those wrenches. You're not 100% repaired, but it does repair you a little bit, and then that's better than nothing, which before used to be nothing. Okay, so I'm really cool. That's really cool about that. And you get, depending on, I guess, your score, you actually get some additional spawns, because I've seen people spawn 5-6 times. Okay, I've only spawned. Well, I mean, me even not. I'll die. I'll respawn. I'll die. I'll respawn. Whatever. And I've respawned 5 or 6 times, and so. I think you start off with 3 respawns or whatever, and then as your score builds up, I think you add some more or something. I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to that, because it's just fun. I'm just digging it. I'm doing the Vandal Swarm, and I'm doing the new Pirate Swarm. The Pirate Swarm is cool. You're fighting M50s. Which I'm gonna say right now, I think that I don't think, it doesn't appear that the ships in Vandal Swarm, or Pirate Swarm, I'm sorry, Pirate Swarm, it doesn't appear that they're using the same flight mechanics or same flight model that I'm using. Because you'll see this M50 just do, and they'll move around like they're like they're a UFO, and it's like, what's going on? How are they doing this? Right? Now, it could be. What's really cool is they've fixed a lot of the FPS issues and the networking issues with Arena Commander, so I shouldn't have a lag issue with it flying this way, and my computer thinks it's continuing on when CIG's computer realizes it wanted to turn around and go back. And so what I see on my screen is choo 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 choo, and that should not be an issue. It could possibly be the issue with why it looks like they are flying. But I'm getting like 59, 60 FPS in Arena Commander, so I shouldn't be getting any of that. And that might be why 261's coming out, because that's also a networking fix. Okay, but we're back to 260. Star Marine. Okay, here's my opinion about Star Marine. It had to come out. It's been delayed for years. The game is supposed to be a first-person experience for a player. So Star Marine has to come out, because I'm going to be flying through the Milky Way. I'm going to go to some system, let's say Lear, somewhere. I'm going to have to land at a space station, base, planet side, whatever. I'm going to get out and get in my buggy, and I'm going to drive over to some crashed ship, try to rescue the black box or rescue some crash survivors or whatever. And then there's going to be some sand nomads there. They're going to try to shoot me. Guess what? That is not space combat. It's not dogfighting. That is on the ground FPS. So, I mean, they could have done something like Mass Effect, where it's a third person, where you're running around and you're shooting over your shoulder, right? You're looking over the shoulder while you're shooting with a crosshair. But they opted to go with a first person experience where you're in your helmet and you see your helmet blocking part of your screen, and you're looking down the sights, and you're seeing, when you turn your head, you're seeing exactly what your character sees. Which I like that, and I appreciate that more than looking at my ass as I'm running around. Okay. That should also... Okay, maybe I should put that on the end, but I'll talk about it now since I'm thinking of it. You know that there's going to be a lot of guys out there, and I do mean guys, not gals. There's going to be a lot of guys out there. They're going to pick female models as their go-to character, right? Now, when I go into any MMO and I see guys playing females, I immediately think, not negatively, okay, this just goes through my mind. They're either, and I'm gonna hurt somebody's feelings right now, and I don't mean to. This is not my intention, but I know I'm going to. They're either a homosexual, or they're a virgin, or they're transsexual or transvestite even, or they're honestly trying to do good role playing, and they've had this female character concept in their mind. Okay, so I can get with those guys. Or the fifth one, this is the one that's like 90% of the percentage. Because every time I ask somebody why you play a female character, and there's only been a few people that would talk to me about it. And the ones that have talked to me about it all tell me this one thing. And I go, what? Okay, this is what they say. I would rather look at a female butt than a man's butt. It's your avatar. It's your avatar. So you're looking at your butt. Okay, so that's why I say virgin. Okay, so and virgin's a broad spectrum, not necessarily that they have never had sex. That's not what I mean. They're 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 not good with women, or they don't have a lot of interaction with the female kind, and they need their avatar to look like a woman to get their jollies. Okay, I know I just offended a bunch of people, and I apologize. It's just the way I feel. It's my opinion. They're a male that wishes they were a female, okay, or they're a male that wants to look at a female, or they have a legitimate role-playing reason for being a female character. Okay. So my point is, I'm getting back to the first person thing. If you're first person and you're looking through your own eyes, you're not looking at your own butt. You're not playing Tomb Raider watching some supermodel run around climbing up trees or whatever, right? You don't see your own butt. Unless you go to third person view and deliberately look at it. But come on, guys. Come on. But luckily what I've noticed is Star Citizen is full of mostly adults. 99% of us are adults, I think. From my interaction, it seems like everybody's mature. They probably already have girlfriends. They're, they're not. From what I've seen and who I've talked to in the Star Citizen community, they all plan to play their own sex. So, like most people that I've spoke to, women and men, are planning on playing their own sex. So like most men are planning on playing men, and most women are planning on playing women. But if they want to play one or the other, no, wait, back up. There's another reason. Okay, it just came to me. There's one more reason. Hit points, stats. Okay, so if a female has less hit points than a man, I could understand why someone would want to play a man, because they're power gaming. That's they're being a munchkin. They're playing the game and not their own personal experience. So they're competing, or they're overly competitive in that they have to get the one that has more hit points. I understand that. I can get into that because I'm sort of competitive myself. Semi-competitive. I would say I'm not as competitive as someone like that. I would not ever play, ever, in any game, and I've not ever done it, play a character because it's better. Never. I've never done that. I did not pick a ship because it's better than any other ship. That's not why I pick my ships. I pick them based on how they look, how they feel, what kind of, like, I changed to Aegis ships because of the way the computer talks to me, how I hear it. It had nothing to do with its capabilities. I switched to the Saber because of the sleek lines and the folding wings, not because it's a better ship. I just got lucky in the fact that it is a pretty good ship. That's not why I picked the Saber. Okay, same thing with my characters. I don't pick, like in a fantasy MMO. Let's go back. Let's go back to way back. City of Heroes. I played a blaster. Not because it was the best FPS, because it's not. Just because it's a good tank, because he's not. The blaster was kind of like, he had range. That's what I wanted. I could make him so that he can fly, and all that good stuff. I mean, I played other classes too. I played like the tank, and I played the scrapper, and the whatever else the other one was, the defender. You know, I played a lot of the different classes, but I liked the blaster the best. That was just me. So when it comes to Star Citizen, first person, people aren't going to be playing girls because they're seeing their asses. Hopefully, because they're going to be seeing out of their own helmet, and it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. The other thing about playing for hit points and power gaming, I skipped over it. Size. Okay, if a man is this big and a woman is this big, people are going to play women because they're going to be harder to hit. I'm going to be this big, huge, monstrous man in power armor, right? And then there's going to be this little itty bitty woman. And if we ever do get our little height sliders, people are going to be taking that and dragging it all the way to the bottom. They're going to be trying to make their character as small as possible, you know, so that you can't hit them with a gun. That's what people are going to be trying to do. I mean, they do it in MMOs. You see all these little pixies running around because it's hard to click on them on the screen. All you got to do is hit tab and just tab to them, and you got them. But okay, but they play the little ones, and then if they've got a bunch of tanks around them and they're in the middle, it's technically impossible to click on them. And you see a lot of that in MMOs. People will play the smallest characters possible because they're min-maxers, they're power gamers, they're munchkins, they're overly competitive. I don't want to play a character like that. I get into the whole story of my character and my personality and the you know, why am I small? Why am I big? You know, that kind of stuff. Not, you know, I usually make my guys about 6'1", same as me, right? Okay. All right. So then we go to Star Citizen. Right? Now, Star Citizen has stated they know that people are going to try to do this. First of all, they're limiting both men and women to a certain height limit because of the cockpits. Specifically, the armor they're wearing and the cockpits they have to fit into. Because that ship size does not change. If I'm short and I pick armor, the armor's going to be short. If I'm tall and I pick armor, it's going to be tall. But when I get into a ship, I'm not going to get a little ship when I'm a small person. It's still going to be big. Or I'm not going to get a little ship while I'm big because I won't be able to fit into it. They're even talking about certain armors aren't going to fit into the cockpit. So they know that, and they've made it publicly clear that they're going to keep the height in a certain area so that everyone fits exactly the same in a cockpit. So guess what? That takes another reason away from you to play a female. They also said that the body size of a female is going to be thinner than a man, right? So you should be an easier target to hit. Well, or miss. A man's going to be easier target to hit. Well, guess what? CIG's completely aware of this. They know this. Somebody's got a brain over there. Okay. They said they're going to take the average from the male body and the female body, whatever the mid-range is, and that's going to be the hitbox. So if you're this big guy, your hitbox is going to be a little bit smaller than you are. And if you're this little girl, you're going to have a hitbox that's probably bigger than you. So if a bullet comes flying by your head, you're probably going to get hit in the head. Or if you're a guy and you get hit right there in your helmet, you're probably not going to get hit in the head. That is an interesting way to do it. But I don't care. That's cool. That takes away the min-maxing. So the players, they take that munchkinism or the ability to manipulate the game away from the player and make it fair for everyone. And I'm super cool with that. Super, super, super cool. Now here's the problem. 2.61 is not out. Okay, that's supposed to be coming out this weekend. This weekend, 261 is going to the PTU according to their schedule, which could change. And then the next week, target date the 16th, that gets released to the public. It might or might not happen then, based on what the results are from the PTU. But they've pretty much finished everything in 261. Everything in 261 is pretty much done. All they got to do is turn the switch, chink, PTU, just to get feedback. And then they can turn the switch one more time and go live. Why did I say 261's not out? And that's why it impacts Star Marine. Because there's fucking cheaters out there. There are cheaters. 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 What they're doing is they're hacking the client side. That basically means the files that are on their own computer. They figured out a way to change the files on their own computer to make it communicate back to the server that they're doing things that are impossible. Okay, and here's an example, and I'm going to break it down as best as I can understand. They install a program that they can download from the internet. There's going to be one that lets you shoot through walls. There's one that lets you target everybody on the map. There's one that lets you not take any damage. There's one that, yeah, I'm going to stop there. Okay. There's one that lets you do all of those things, which if you get that one, you're like mega cheater, right? But anyway, if you're using any of them, you're a cheater. And if CIG finds out that you're cheating, they will ban your account and it'll be permanent and you will not get a refund because that's a violation of the agreement, the user agreement that you had with CIG. When you signed up for this, you had to click on something saying that you agree with that user agreement, and that user agreement states you can't modify any of the files. Okay? Can't do it. And if you do it, you're immediately banned. It says it. Okay, so luckily, and I appreciate them actually coming out and saying that if they find you're cheating, they're going to ban you. They reinforced that because I was wondering, I was like, man, all these cheaters are running around and nobody's getting banned. Well, if somebody gets banned, they're not going to tell me. They're not going to say, hey, this Joe over here, Joe Blow, got banned. And everyone needs to know that. No, they're not going to say that. They're just going to contact Joe Blow and say, guess what, dude, you're banned. Or he'll try to log in and he'll get a thing pop up that says, you're banned, you know. So, for violating of the user agreement, the EULA, or whatever it's called, end user license agreement, right? Okay, so if you don't know what the end user license agreement is or what you agreed to, you might want to go to the bottom of the RSI website and click it. It's right there. Click it. It'll open up. It's a legal document. You'll be able to read it. Everything's good. Okay, but these are what the cheaters are doing, right? They're installing a program that goes into the files and changes the walls so that they have no hitbox. You still see the wall, but your computer doesn't think that a bullet will stop when it hits that wall. It thinks the bullet will continue on. So it tells the CIG server, hey, this guy shot and the bullet went all the way over here and hit this dude. And then so that client, the server says, hey dude, this guy over here, his bullet hits you. You're dead, right? And so, and you're like, what the hell? I was standing in an empty room and all of a sudden a bullet hit me, you know, with walls on all four sides. There's nobody around me, right? I just died because this guy with a sniper rifle is sitting in his spawn point and he's just pew, 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 and he's killing everybody on the map. Okay. Second one, the guns. There are guns. No, wait, not guns. Not the guns. That's the walls. And then they give the radar, right? How when you run into a room, you'll see the enemy pop up and you have a little yellow triangle, right? Okay. Well, what happens is that only has a certain amount of range, 30, 60 feet, something like that. Somebody goes into your computer, your client computer, changes that range to unlimited, or a million miles, or however, whatever the max size is they can put on there. Not interrupted by walls, or footprints, or sound. So you have 100% connection all the time with all the people, and then they make it even sweeter by putting a box around that person. So when you go in the game, your radar is telling you exactly where everybody's at and putting a box around them, whether you've got a wall in the way or not. You still see this little box. So if you've got that radar and you've got the gun shooting through walls, you just go, there he is, pow, there he is, pow, there he is, pow, and you just kill everybody, right? Okay, so this is what I do. I get on there, I play Star Marine, and I see like a guy in Star Marine. Okay, it could be anybody. He's got 20 kills. Let's say he's got 20 kills and 2 deaths. There's no fucking way that you could do that. I don't care how good of a player you are. Because first of all, Star Marine's broken. You can't hit anything. And when you do, you don't do any damage because their arms are in the way or they get hit in the legs and it doesn't kill them. So for you to get 20 kills and only die twice, I don't know the actual raw numbers of the facts, but that looks like cheating to me. And then when I go in and I see all these, and you can look at them on YouTube, you can pull them up. There's people proud about them, and they will advertise on YouTube. They'll have videos of how they exploited the Star Marine game by downloading these hacks and playing with them. Okay, well, that's frustrating for me because I'll get in the game and I'll be running down a hallway and then I'll be shot in the head, right? Or I will be motionless in a room behind cover. There's no way anybody could possibly see me, and then a grenade comes into the room. Okay, I understand the whole concept of clearing a room with a grenade first and then running in. I get that. I get that. But it feels like they knew I was there and they threw the grenade in. Seems like cheating. When I get killed like that, when I get killed, it says, "Oh, Joe Blow just killed you." I go, I wonder what Joe Blow's score is because he's not anywhere near me. Oh, look at that. 25 kills and 3 deaths. Strange that. Okay. So Star Marine right now to me is frustrating. I mean, it's fun. I run around. I die like 99% of the time, and that's just because I suck. I get that. But I should be somewhere closer to 50%. I should be able to kill about as much as I die, and that's about what happens. But when I see somebody with a huge disparity in deaths and kills, 2-to-1, I'm almost okay with. 3-to-1, I'm okay with. If you have 15 kills and 5 deaths, you're a good player. But if you have 20-to-3, really, dude, you have a 7 KDR, no way. There's no way. No, especially with that broken game. There's no way. You're cheating. Okay. Having said that, 261. When 261 comes out, that's going to prevent a lot of that. Because now they're going to take a lot of the ownership from the client and put it back on the server. Because then the server is going to be able to communicate because they're going to improve the netcode. Hopefully. Wow, rain. Okay, so yeah, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's pounding. So if that improves the game, then I'm down with 261. I'm down with the OPP. Okay. All right. So what else? Grenade indicators in Star Marine. Back to Star Marines. Grenade indicators. Right. There's been some mixed emotions about the grenade indicators. So now I'm going to tell you what if you ever watch any of my other videos, you've heard me talking about grenade indicators. But I'm not going to go into all that. This is what I'm going to say about grenade indicators. Every other game has them. Star Marine doesn't have them at this minute. Do they need it? In my opinion, yes. Do they need it to be? Do they need it in a? Do they need it in a in-fiction way? Absolutely, because Star Citizen wants to stay as immersive as possible. How can they justify a grenade indicator? This is the argument. How can they justify it? When I'm in a, and this is what you hear. You hear this from people that, I guess you hear it from all sides. But here, let me say what I've heard against grenade indicators. That's unrealistic. When I throw a grenade in a room, they shouldn't. Nothing should be telling them. It should be a sneak attack. That grenade should go off and kill you whether you know it's there or not. You know, I mean, you shouldn't know it's there. How would your suit possibly know that there was a grenade thrown in the room? Okay. Here's the counterpoint. This is the counter argument, and this is the side that I'm on. I'm on the counter argument, and I'm on the CIG side because they're putting grenade indicators in 261. You should have situational awareness. I, Derek, have situational awareness of what's going on around me. If somebody dropped a grenade right there, I bet you 100% I would know. It would go plunk, and I'd be like, crap, there was a grenade thrown in the room. You know? Okay. But in a computer game, you don't have but maybe 2, maybe 4 speakers telling you where everything is at with surround sound, right? You only have one way that you're looking. That's the monitor. If you had monitors 360 around you, you know, or if you had head tracking, virtual reality, head tracking, or if you had like Track IR or something like that, where you can look around fast, maybe take grenade indicators away. But because we don't have that, we are limited by our monitor and the way we're pointing our guns. I have to push a billion buttons to get myself to look where I'm not pointing. Because we don't have that, and I don't have this feeling like a sixth sense of a grenade hitting the ground behind me, which, if you've ever been in combat, you know that your sixth sense tingles a lot. But if I don't have that, then CIG or Star Marine needs to give me that. They have to give me that. That's for gameplay reasons. So they thought about just doing the sound of the grenade. Dink, 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 dink. That's a good step, but that doesn't give you your situational awareness, your sixth sense, and your vision. It doesn't give you any of that. So they have to, and I feel they have to, give you an arrow or just something that says, look out, grenade, or this was suggested by somebody else, and I really thought this was a good idea, possible grenade. Because if I take a bottle of beer and I throw it in a room, my suit computer might not know it's not a Molotov cocktail. It might think, hey, it's a grenade, it's a Molotov cocktail, or something. And it'll say, possible grenade right there. And it'll be on my responsibility to say, no, that's just a beer bottle. Or, holy crap, it's a grenade. You know? Okay. So, so if they go, possible grenade right there, or just a big red arrow going, boom! Okay. You have a HUD. You have a whole bunch of unused space on there. You've got, in the little corners, you got your ammo counter, and you got your, like, health, and then you've got your little radar right here. Why couldn't they put something right here like a crosshair? Like when I point my gun around the corner, which I'm sure you can in the future. You can do it today. So why can't I point my gun around the corner and have a little video right here of what my gun can see, like a little gun camera? I should be able to do that, right? They took that away. Or maybe that's a modification you got to buy in the future. Or a crosshair, lasers, night vision. You know, there's a lot of things that aren't in the game that probably should be, but we're talking about grenade indicators. Let's get back. In 261, they're going to be adding grenade indicators. I think you should have it. Your suit is... I think your suit should talk to you. Okay, that's one thing. I think your suit should communicate verbally with you, not just visually. I think it should say, grenade, 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 something like that, right? In your head. When I'm flying a real F-16 or whatever, how about a Boeing 747, you're flying it, you get close to the ground, guess what it tells you? Pull up, you know, terrain. Okay, how does it know that? How does it know it's terrain? How does it know its altitude? Because it's not stupid. It has sensors. It can see these things. You know, and so your suit should be not stupid. And it should see these things. That's why I'm okay with it identifying the enemy and saying, shoot here. You know, that's why I'm okay with it saying, here's a radar. There's sound over in this direction, this far. Because that's what your little radar is telling you. It's only telling you where the sound is at. Because you would think that the radar wouldn't go through the walls, right? But guess what? In the future, and I'm going to go back to my whole Traveler books, in Traveler, they've come up with a way, which is feasible in real physics, to have radar that goes through terrain features. Okay? I think it's called a Meson. Okay, so if I've got, or maybe not a Meson, maybe it's, trying to remember. But either way, it'll travel through terrain features, so you'll be able to see. Oh wait, no, I'm backing up. That's Mesons travel through terrain, but they don't come back. But there's something called a densiometer, which detects it. I guess it would be like a 3D image. It could project it. I would think it should be able to project it on your HUD. That gives you like a 3D image of the entire complex with where all the people are. But I'm sure that's a suit upgrade that you can get later on down the road. Yeah, they have something called a densiometer because it detects the changes in density. So like a human would be more dense than the air around it, so it would actually display the human. And the wall is more dense than the air around it, so it would display the wall. So, but I digress. The suit should be able to tell you these things. It's 950 years in the future. It's supposed to be able to tell you these things. So let it tell you those things. And don't cry about it. That's what I'm saying. Okay, sorry. I got all. That's the grenade indicators. Network stability and improvements. There should be a network improvement. They're changing the way and the quantity and the amount of data that goes back and forth between the client and the server. What's good about that is as of right now, it's telling you every single thing that's happening, not only in your area, but on the entire map. You don't need to know that. You don't need to, I don't, if I'm in the yellow system on Grimhex, I don't need to know that somebody is getting up out of bed at Port Olisar. But right now, it's telling me that. I mean, I don't get to see it because it's so far away and there's a wall in the way, but my computer hears the message and it just doesn't tell me because I'm not in the vicinity. So they're going to get rid of that. If the computer's not going to tell you that, then it doesn't need to know that. So it's going to cut that information out. And so that means the traffic from your computer to their computer should be a lot smaller, and so it should be a lot faster. But we'll see. We'll see how that works. Okay, regional servers. Okay, that's coming out in 2.6.1 as well. Because they moved to Lumberyard, which is on the Amazon servers, there are Amazon servers all around the world, and all they have to do is turn them on. Bloop. And then all of a sudden, someone in Timbuktu is going to get a good internet connection. He's going to get a good ping because he's going to be closer to that server than someone else. If I have a server in Virginia, someone in Virginia is going to get a lot lower ping than someone in California. And then just imagine someone in Australia. They're not going to get good server. They're not going to get a good ping because they've got to reach all the way across and then it's got to transmit all the way back. Right. So with them opening up the regional server in Australia, with them opening up a regional server in maybe South America or in Europe or in Russia or wherever, then each of those players, their ping is going to be faster. Because the connection between those servers and all the other servers is probably super fast, like T1 line fast, right? So it's going like super fast between all those servers, and then anybody else that's communicating to those servers, because they're closer, they're getting a faster connection as well. So let's see if it makes any improvements, and I believe it will. Okay. Okay, and then now here I got some predictions, and then I'll start taking questions. If anybody out there wants to ask any questions, you can. I am looking at the chat. If you don't, that's no problem. I'm going to jump into. Actually, we're just going to close the show because I've been on for almost an hour. So I'm surprised that I've talked this long about this subject for this long. I've digressed and went into different directions, and I apologize. But this is going to be Season 4, Episode 0. This is just an announcement that Episode 1 will probably be next month because I lost connection with all my co-hosts. Okay, 3.0 and Squadron 42. When do I expect 3.0? Okay, well, 2.6.1 will come out this month. 2.6.2, which is on the schedule, will probably be March. With 2.6.2 coming out, I do think that's just going to be some fixes, some bug smashing, some maybe a couple of features here and there, some tweaks to the flight model, the missile speeds and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be that huge of a deal, but it will be there. That's 2.6.2 in March. April, May, June. April, May, June. June. And I'm saying it now. June 3.0. That's what I'm guessing. I'm just guessing this. I would wish it to come out in April because it'll be right after 2.6.1 and the new netcode should be in. But I think, I think they want to have Delta patching in with 3.0 because 3.0 is going to be a huge download. If you don't go to Delta patching, I'm going to have to install the entire game plus all the added content of 3.0. They don't want that. They don't want to have to pay for that. So, and I don't blame them. So they need to get Delta patching, which if you're not familiar with what Delta patching is, what that means is It only patches the files that change. So like if there's 100 files and only 10 of them change to fix a bug, you'll only get those 10 files changed or downloaded. You won't, as right now as it sits, every time you patch, you're downloading the entire game because they don't know how, or they haven't implemented the way to patch only what is needed. Okay, so when Delta patching comes out, I'm not going to patch the entire game. I'm only going to patch the 3.0 bugs, or I'm sure there will be, the 3.0 planets and the 3.0 everything from 3.0. Every time a new ship comes out, they could just send you the new ship. They don't have to, you won't have to wait for the 3.1 patch or the 3.2 patch. You won't have to wait for any of that. Because once they get Delta patching, if they figure out how to fix this one bug, this one little simple thing where you got a med pen sticking out of your left hand, if they can figure that out and fix it by just changing one file, they could send that one file to everybody with Delta patching. They could do that. They could patch every day. And it would be minimal. Okay, I'm going to back up. You know I'm playing Star Citizen. You know I'm playing War Thunder. Every day, almost every day, I log into War Thunder, because I do. I log in every day. But almost every day I log in, there is a patch. There is a patch every day on War Thunder. How long does it take me to download that patch? 1 to 2 minutes at the max. Sometimes less. I'll click it and they'll be going ready to play. Downloading new patch. Done. Ready to play. Server update. Ready to play. I mean, it's like they have Delta patching. It's figured out. Star Citizen needs Delta patching, especially because of the development process, the iterative development process of this whole crowdfunding whole thing. Me working with an alpha, it would be cheaper for them just to update every file as it gets fixed. And they could work on one bug at a time. And if I saw that my game was being patched every day, every other day, once a week even, because when I was doing beta for MechWarrior Online, because remember that game, I used to play in the closed beta. I was not in the alpha. I was in the closed beta and the beta of, or was I in the alpha? Right at the end of alpha. So I was in the closed beta and beta of MechWarrior. MechWarrior had a day, a specific day, Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, you would get a patch. Every Tuesday, without fail. And it would update the game. Because they were in beta and they wanted our result. They wanted our feedback. They wanted our bug reports. Kind of like Star Citizen. But they had Delta patching, or at least semi-Delta patching, or a patching. I guess they patched once a week because then they had weekly targets of, we need to fix all these bugs. Okay, they're all fixed. Send it out. Let's fix all these bugs. And that's the way they did it there. And Star Citizen could do the same thing. They could do a weekly patch. And it would make us feel better emotionally because we would know, we would see those patches coming in. And they would say, fix the MedPen bug. Next week they would say, fixed the landing gear bug. Or fixed the weapons falling off your ship bug. Or whatever, right? And we would see it constantly being improved. But you got to have Delta patching for that. And I think they're going to wait to release 3.0 until they figure out Delta patching. So there's going to be, as you've already seen, there's big gaps between patches right now because they have to send it out as a full game every time. If you patch, if they send out a patch today and it's not Delta patching, you're downloading like 100 gigs or 20 gigs or whatever the game is nowadays. You're downloading this huge amount. And they don't want that to happen. They want to send out kilobytes or just 1 gig at a time or something like that. That will also help people that have data limits. You know, there are certain people that have data limits. They don't want to download the entire game over and over and over, especially with the PTU. Because I've got the regular game and I've got the PTU. And whenever the PTU gets updated, when I am in the PTU, I patch the PTU. A day later, a new patch comes out. I got to download the whole fucking game again. Every day, luckily I'm unlimited data, but there are people out there that would like to be PTU that can't be because it would just kill them on overage charges or whatever. Okay. That's why I think 3.0 is not going to come out until Delta patching is going to happen, and that's probably not going to be till June. That's my prediction. Squadron 42. Squadron 42, my prediction on that, it's going to be even after 3.0 because I think 3.0 is going to come out. They're going to test the ability to go from planet to planet, interaction with the cargo, AI, mission generating, stuff like that. A lot of that's going to have to get worked out. A lot of bugs are going to have to get worked out. And then by the end of the year, probably the Christmas time frame. I know you guys don't want to hear this, but I think it's the Christmas time frame. A year from now is when you're going to see Squadron 42. They're going to release it they're not going to release it around Andromeda because they don't want to compete with another space game that's super popular. They're going to release Squadron 42 closer to the end of the year because then they would have had 3.0, maybe even 3.1 out, and a lot of those bugs worked out, and hopefully the animations will be fixed. The syncing of what your AI is doing with what they're animating will be fixed so that in Squadron 42 it'll look good. And they're not going to release it until it looks good. Now, my original understanding of Squadron 42, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at my backing, my stretch goals. This is my original understanding. They were going to release 10 missions, just 10, to the backers. The backers would play those 10 missions and work out any bugs. And then they would release 10 more missions to the backers, and we would help work out all those bugs. Then 10 more missions, work out those, up till we got to about 50 missions, and then it would be released to the public. So I don't know. I guess they're holding it as they're not going to release those to us. We're not going to test them. It's only going to be the Evocati and the internals, which I don't know. I feel like that's a violation of our agreement from original backing. But they have the right to change however they're going to do everything. But I feel like a promise was broken. But okay, what's the last thing? Yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and post them in the chat. I'll hang out for a couple of minutes. I don't see any chat questions right now. If I don't see anything in a minute or so, I will bail on you guys. My internet is like really, okay, I don't know what you guys see on your end. When I go back and watch it, I will. But I'm only streaming this at 26 FPS. I deliberately put it low. And I am streaming using a program called OBS, or Open Broadcast Software. I use it a lot. That's my primary recording software. I love it. I used to have Fraps. I used to use NVIDIA. I used to use Blueberry. I used to use, I did use XSplit for a little while. I used, what was that other one I used? There was a name of one that I used to use. I can't remember what it's called, but it doesn't hold up to OBS. OBS just seems like it's so much better, but it's telling me that I've got 10% dropped frames, and it keeps flashing red on my internet connection. So I don't know. Okay, well, since there's no questions, thank you guys for coming out and joining us and watching and listening to this stream, and I apologize for our co-host not showing up, and I'll find out what's going on. Hopefully nothing bad's happened to them. I hope they're all okay, and catch you next time.